Hello everyone, my name is Rose the Black Cat, and today I'm going to be reacting to some of my looping I've done as a survivor and explaining everything I do and walking you through it so that you can have a better understanding of how I think and, you know, get my unique perspective on the game. So yes, without further ado, let's get into it. We're starting with a chase on the Walking Dead map, Fallen Refuge. The killer is the Legion, and we have just entered the end game. As you can see, there's one gen left to go. It's about a pop, and somebody's been hooked, and I believe the killer is coming my way. So right now, I'm basically just running around in circles, and I'm looking for the killer because I don't know exactly where the killer is. So I spot the killer. The killer is on to me. I'm pretty sure that they are on me. See, the thing is, I had another teammate nearby me earlier, if you saw in the beginning of the clip, so I wasn't sure if they were going to come after me or go after my teammate, especially because I believe my teammate was injured. So I wasn't sure, so I had to really make sure that the killer was going to commit to chasing me, which it seems like they are. Now, what I'm doing right here, you might think, oh, why are you running so wide? You gotta hug your corners. The thing is, I'm running really wide because in order to get a fast vault through a window, I need to be running in like a straight line with 2.5 meters of lead up. So I want to make sure I don't accidentally go at the wall and then the vault. How do I explain this? Here's the window. I'm running here, and then if the window is right here, now I'm not going at a straight line. So if I go slightly over and then into it, then I am going at it in a straight line. See, so I get the fast vault. My perk Scene Partner activates, where you scream, and then you see the killer's aura for 6 seconds, and there's a chance that you'll scream again, and every time that you scream, you see it for an additional 2 seconds. So this helps me because I can see, well, it didn't last very long, unfortunately. There, let me rewind a little bit. I'll roll the tape back. So I started doing this funny little thing where you run into a wall and I thought that I messed up. But the thing is, I was able to basically realize what was happening, go around, and I got a fast vault, which was very lucky. And right here, I'm using my key, which has an add-on called the Blood Amber, which allows you to see the killer's aura and the killer sees your aura. And by default, it lasts for 4 seconds. And I have an add-on to give me an extra charge, so I can use that up to 5 times. So you might think, why would you want the killer to see your aura? That seems kind of dangerous. The thing is, generally, whenever you're playing around a window, survivors vault windows significantly faster than killers do. So it's usually advantageous for the survivor to know where the killer is, because the killer is basically trying to get you to vault the window at the wrong time. Because if you keep vaulting the window at the right time, you're always going to escape the killer. Unless they have something that ignores windows, like, a pyramid head or nurse or artist or something like that, where they can hit you through a wall. So here, yeah, we can see through the wall that the killer's red stain is moving, and that indicates where they're going. So the correct play here could have been to fake out the window rather than fully committing. See, watch the red stain, it's on me, and then it starts to go backwards, and then we can see the killer's going, so that they get a hit. And also, as you can tell, the window blocked. Whenever you vault a window 3 times back to back in a chase, it will block for like a minute or something. I'm not sure exactly how long. The killer's on us, and then, yep, that was a fake right there, right? So I made it look like I was going to the window, and then I just kept going. And then we see the killer double back, and now they're back on me. And then I go really wide, like I'm gonna go for a fast fall, but I don't. And then right here, bam, the killer swings. You can't really, I don't have any sound on, but the killer swung at the window, and they were very close. So I thought it was about to mess up, but no. And then that window blocked too, I believe, because I think it had been 3 times. So whether or not it was, that was what I believed at the time. So I started to leave, and I tried to make it to this main building window, and then I try to fake it, but the killer is too close to me. The thing about faking, before we get into this next chase, is that if the killer, so when a killer lunges, they basically travel much faster than usual, but for a very short distance. And then after the lunge is over, they have a longer cooldown than normal. So basically, it's like a way to try to catch someone if they're right at the edge of your grasp. So what you can do is that if you're about to go to a window, rather than actually going for the window, you just immediately, like you make it go as close to the window as possible, and then you make a hard turn. And then the killer will lunge at the window, but they won't have quite enough distance to actually make it to you unless you were actually in the animation of vaulting the window. The thing is, if the killer is too close to you, then they can just lunge, and they'll have enough time left in their lunge to lunge at the window and then spin and still hit you. So the only way to actually fake is if the killer needs to be a certain distance behind you, where they can't actually lunge to reach you unless you're in the animation of vaulting. And then that's when you can fake it. Okay, so now we have a chase. We are on Dead Dog Saloon, and which is from the Deathslingers chapter. We have a Dracula who is on us, and we are, as you can see, we're by this little wagon, the shack over there, main buildings nearby. We have 3 gens to go. Nobody's currently working on one, but as you will see, teammates were pretty goated, and we were able to get gens done during this chase. So we start. We have him in wolf form, as you can see, but he's about to shapeshift. So he's in the wolf form. He shapeshifts to vampire form, which is interesting. This killer was a little odd. I personally, I'm not going to try to judge what he does, but he kind of confused me a bit because he didn't play in the way that I expected him to play, like Dracula's normally do. Okay, so here, so he misses. He swings at the wagon, but I still get hit because the thing is, I wasn't expecting him to miss. I don't usually expect the killers to play badly. I expect the worst, and I hope for the best. You know what I mean? Hopefully they miss every shot. But I'm expecting that they'll hit everything and they'll mind game me and stuff. You know, I'm trying to plan for the worst case scenario. So I don't expect to get hit. So yeah, I wasn't expecting him to miss. What I was doing here to explain, basically, the plan was to. So you kind of messed this up. Basically, I was gonna fake the pallet and then keep running as he lunged into the pallet, but it didn't really work like that. He swung at the wagon and then it kind of threw me off, and so I was like, whoa, what's happening? And then he still ended up hitting me, but it's okay because he hit me like as I was vaulting the pallet, so I still had, when you get hit you have a speed boost, so I wanted to use that speed boost to make distance to get to something better. So I decided to run to this wagon right here that I can kind of chain into the killer shack. So then I ran a bit further, kind of making it seem like I was going to main. I got lucky there because he potentially could have hit me with that fire if he had been more accurate. But it worked out for me. And then I think he's breaking it. I'm pretty sure I could hear it. I can't hear it now. I don't have any sound. Oh, no, he didn't break it. As we can see through windows of opportunity, that aura of the pallet's still there. Okay, so now he's following me. I go through the vault immediately. I'm trying to vault immediately so that he doesn't have enough time. It takes Dracula time to lift up his like fire and then activate it. So I was trying to just immediately vault to make sure that he wouldn't have enough time to do it. So here, I keep running by the window. So he starts to swing at the window because he thinks that I'm going to run close enough to the window for him to be able to hit me through it, which, yeah, it's possible. Here, what I do a little fake, and then see he does the fire. He misses the fire. But in my mind, last time I immediately vaulted the window, so this time I decided to fake it to do something different so that the killer might, like, if in case he preemptively charges his fire, like as he's going around the pallet, then he would have missed. So here we have him vaulting again. He likes to vault a lot. We drop the pallet, the window's blocked, and then he breaks it, so we get back over to this pallet. And then instead of playing, what I did here, instead of actually playing that pallet, I just left. Because I used the wagon to block the line of sight of the killer, so the killer couldn't necessarily see me leaving. So the killer still thinks that I want to play that pallet. And if they don't notice my scratch marks, see, look. So okay, if we can see it, let me see. Can we actually see it? I believe he actually like used his Hellfire attack on the pallet because he thought that I was there, even though I wasn't. And then this, in case you're wondering why there's random fire spawning everywhere, the Dracula has an add-on where whenever a gen gets completed, Hellfire spawns around him within a certain range for 10 seconds. So it's a little scary, but it's also, you know, a little gimmicky. He has some funny add-ons like that. So yeah, I just kind of, with that last pallet, I just kind of pre-dropped it and, you know, used it, hoped that he would break it and use it to make distance. And then he goes into wolf form. Sorry, before I embarrass myself. he goes into wolf form, and then I'll explain how I dodge this. So wolf form has 2 dashes. I didn't even explain the Hellfire. The Hellfire can, it's basically like a row of like fire that can go through, doesn't necessarily go through walls, but it can go over small obstacles like rocks and stuff. It won't go through basically anything that's like head height kind of. So like a rock or like a small wagon or any kind of small object, it'll go over. But if it's like a wall, then it won't go through walls. But it can hit you through over a window or over a pallet or over like smaller stuff like that. And then the dog form, Dracula can shapeshift between different forms. The wolf form, he has 2 dashes, so he goes like, "Hur, hur," and he has to like charge his dash a little bit, and then he does it, and then he does it again, and then there's a short cooldown before he can do it again. So here, there was a pallet over there that I wanted to get to, but the killer knows that I want to go to that resource, so he's trying to zone me from the resource. So what I did was basically make it look like I was going to run to the pallet. He dashes at me, and then I go to the side, and then maybe he dashes again, or it's a lot harder to hit it. The farther a survivor gets away from you, the harder it is to hit a dash, because you kind of get locked in a certain direction when you do it. So you can kind of bluff it, and the killer doesn't know exactly where you're going to go. What I did right here was I ran into a pole. I straight up just ran into it. Let's get a live action replay. What happens here? Yep. I'm pretty sure I could have made it back around the killer shack in that amount of time. But I ran into a pole. It happens. But what's cool here, my teammate's doing this gen right here on the gallows. And Dracula falls, and then she pops it. Yeah, and now it's only 1 gen to go. We ended up winning this game. So, yeah, pretty cool. Great chase. It's great when funny killer, and it's great when your teammates do gens. Okay, now we are on Toba Landing. This is the map for the Singularity. The killer is the animatronic Springtrap, Freddy Fazbear. So let's see how this one goes. We're at the killer shack. We have scene partner. We had just screamed before the clip started, so we saw his aura for a little bit. He vaults through the window. He vaults back. We could tell because of the red stain. Object of Obsession is revealing his aura now. I have 3 aura reading perks technically. 2 really, because one of them isn't active. Scene partner, again, you scream, you see their aura. It has a 40-second cooldown. Object of Obsession, if you are the obsession, okay, well, first of all, anytime that the killer can see your aura, you can see theirs. I don't think this killer had any aura reading perks, so that really didn't come into play. But every 30 seconds, for 3 seconds, your aura gets revealed to the killer, which means you can obviously see their aura too. So every 30 seconds, for 3 seconds, this killer can see my aura. I can see theirs. So right now, he can also see my aura because see how the eyeball perk is lit up? That's Object of Obsession. So he knows where I am. See, that's why he's kind of like aiming an axe at me through a wall. Which obviously isn't going to work, but okay. So I saw him around the corner, so I'm holding like a little, it's called check spot, where okay, before I embarrass myself again, I was holding a check spot, which is basically where you sit at like the corner of a loop where there's, it's hard, you have enough time to react when the killer comes, and you can see where they're going to go. And then you don't actually leave that until the killer forces you to go in a direction, and then you know which way they're going to go. And basically, it's like safety, so the killer can't catch you off guard, and you can't get mind gamed. What happens right here is that I play on controller. If you guys play on computer, it's different, and on a keyboard. On a controller, the buttons to do like healing or repairing gens is the same as it is to vault or like drop a pallet. And there's no way to rebind it. That is the way it is. You can't change it. So I don't know why. I wish I could change it to like, I don't know, X or something, which is something different, but it's not possible. So I start repairing the gen on accident instead of going through the window. And then I basically just, try to spin around, get enough distance in order to get a fast vault back in. Here, I believe I immediately vault. Yeah, I just immediately vault. Just kind of, throw him off. I've noticed he vaults a lot, but he doesn't vault right there. I get aura, and then what I do, I fake the axe, and then I jump through, and he doesn't have enough time because he's still in the cooldown from throwing the axe. Right here, okay, something weird happens here. Let me explain this. So I'm not sure exactly what the killer did. I think the killer just kind of panics, and I kind of panicked too. We all just kind of panicked. So I jumped through the window, and then it becomes blocked by the entity. You can see the black spikes that are forming. And then I realize, okay, there's no pallet, so I got to go back. And then I don't think the killer expected me to do that, so he just kind of swings. And then because of that, he enters a cooldown, and I have enough time to make this next pallet. So I panicked, the killer panicked, it just kind of like canceled out, and now we're back in it. He breaks the pallet. In case you're wondering, sometimes killers will try to fake a pallet break, where they'll walk up to the pallet, but then they'll leave. And if you're wondering how I know the difference, it's because when I play, I always wear headphones, and I have pretty good hearing, so I can hear when he goes, and like he starts doing the noise that they do. And that's how I know he's doing it without actually having to look at him. Okay, so we have here, he goes through, he's trying to take pallet control. Pallet control is a term where basically the killer or the survivor, whoever is like on the pallet, then the other person has to try to like come to them. And like, if the survivor's on the pallet, then no matter what the killer does, they can drop it and get safety, or try to stun them. And if the killer's on the pallet, then the survivor can't drop it. So they either have to like just, I mean, obviously you gotta leave the pallet eventually, but if you can deny the survivor from being able to use the pallet, then that's good. That's why instead of going around the long way, which was closer to where I was, he went through the pallet because he was expecting me to want to go to the pallet too. It's all a mind game. Okay, so let me rewind this because something's about to happen right here. Okay, so we're going through the pallet, and then what I do right here is I go a little bit too far, and then I go back, and then I drop it. The thing is, the killer, because he has an axe, which he can throw, which is a ranged projectile, then he's expecting me to just walk through the pallet. Because the thing is, if I drop the pallet, I do an animation, and then during that time, he can go, and just hit me over the pallet. So he's expecting me to just go through it, honestly. So what I do here, yeah, again, I go a little bit too far, and then I go back, and then I stun him. So that he thinks I'm going to walk through it, but then, boom. So yeah, he's seen me go around the corner, and he's like, oh, they're leaving. And then I go right back, and boom, stun him. Okay, and now I can kind of see him in the background. He's still on me. I wasn't entirely sure if he was still on me or not. I made a lot of distance. I kind of confused him, I think. So now we're going right back to the killer shack. The window is unblocked. Like I said, it only unblocks. It blocks for like a minute, and then it unblocks. So I can see him. We get the aura reading from the scene partner perk, which is helping us so we don't get mind gamed. He's trying to like hide his red stain. So the killer, the red glow that comes out of their face is called a red stain. It emits from the direction that they're looking. So what killers can do a lot of times is that they'll look backwards, or they'll like walk backwards so that you can't see their red stain, or they'll like look into a wall so that it's not as obvious. See right here, he's trying to mind game me by walking backwards and then going to the window, but I can see his aura, so it's not working. Okay, and then here he hits me, unfortunately. I believe right there maybe faking it was the right move, but I had faked it multiple times before, so I thought maybe doing something different could be good. But yeah, anyway, we all make mistakes, right? But sometimes those mistakes don't mean anything because your teammates aren't doing gens, but they're doing this. Boom! He probably should have been doing gens the whole time, but, it was pretty cool. Only one of my teammates was doing gens this entire time, and it was my, friend that I was in the party with. Okay, he goes through the pallet, obviously, just like last time. This time, yeah, he's going to do the axe. I got lucky there. I don't think he meant to get stunned. I kind of saw him get a little too close to the pallet, and I was like, I think I could stun you. And sure enough, yeah, I could. I have a pretty good sense for where the killer can be stunned, because I love stunning killers. So yeah, I saw him just get a little too close to the pallet. See, the thing is, he didn't want to get stunned. He wanted me to drop it and then to hit me over the pallet. But he made a mistake. He was a little too close to the pallet, and I could still stun him. And I realized that. It's really important to always, if the killer makes a mistake, always try to capitalize on it. That's what's really important. To always try to, never expect the killer to make a mistake or play poorly, obviously, because, that will just lead you to make mistakes. Because, yeah, but if the killer does make a mistake, try to react to it as quickly as possible and capitalize on it, because that's how you can make the most distance. Right there, I wouldn't, yeah, he would have downed me. Or I would have had to greet it. Okay, here, the thing is, he didn't charge. The thing is, it takes him time to, lift up his axe, kind of like Dracula, right? So even though he was ready to do it, he didn't do it early enough, so I was able to run away. He might have been able to hit me there. Let's get a little replay and see if that was possible for him to do, or if he messed up. But either way, I capitalized on his mistake. I immediately ran away. Let's see. Okay, so he starts lifting it, and then, yeah, I don't think he had quite enough time. He might have been able to hit it, but it was very close. But either way, he ended up just throwing it a little bit to the right, maybe to whenever I walk through his axe, he like knows where I am. So sometimes he uses that for information. Okay, here there's a window. He directly follows me. Oh, sorry, go away. Ah, why is that? Get off my screen. Get off the screen. Okay. So what I kind of expected him to do, because it's how he's been playing this entire time, was that, see how there's a window right there to my right? I thought that he was going to go around and like try to take window control, so to speak. Like, like just sit at the window and kind of like go around it and try to bait me into vaulting it. But he didn't do that. He just straight up followed me. So I was like, oh shit. So I didn't really have enough time to actually make the window. Here could have been a good opportunity to fake as well. But I kind of thought, oh, hold on, sorry. Let me go back here. So what I was thinking was that last time I like vaulted a window and then he hit me and downed me. So I'm like, does he expect me to do it again? Like, does he think I'm stupid? So I did do it again, just because I thought that it would be unpredictable and that maybe, he would double back or something. But no, he just did the same thing. So I guess I don't know if he's stupid or smart, or if I'm stupid or smart, but it worked. He downed me. So, but he did chase me for 2 minutes and then another 1 minute after the flashlight save, so a total of 3 minutes. Unfortunately, my teammates weren't doing gens, so we lost. It happens, but it was a good chase. So he made a fair few mistakes. I made some mistakes, but overall, yeah, it's pretty good. So yeah, anyway, the point of this wasn't to show off like the best looping in the world or anything. It was just to kind of walk you through my thought process and kind of explain what's going through my head. I know sometimes when I play with my friends or stuff, they're like, man, how are you juicing this killer? Like, I'm struggling. And a lot of times what it is it's almost like, it's like a tug of war of expectations. You know what I mean? Where like, if you play as optimally and as safe as possible and just drop everything, you could probably last a really long time. But a lot of times the killer will use their power to make sure that that's not possible. They will force you to drop pallets when you don't want to. They'll force you to vault when you don't want to. And they'll try to make you slip up. They'll try to, get you into situations where you're out of position. Because the thing is, no matter what happens, the killer will always eventually catch you. And killers are just trying to basically make you fuck up so that will happen faster. That's why I'm holding check spots. That's why I'm trying to be unpredictable. That's why also I'm trying to use a resource for as long as possible. Like if I can greed a pallet or vault back over it when the killer's not breaking it, then that allows me to do it for longer. So a lot of these chases were from like during the middle or the end of the game. So resource management wasn't as important, but especially during the beginning of the game, like a lot of times it's good if you don't have like the safest pallet in the world and also you're not in a lot of danger, then just don't necessarily drop pallets unless you have to. Because the longer that you can run through a pallet without the killer hitting you, the longer that pallet's going to last and the less pallets they have to use on the map. It is true also that with the recent update, there are more pallets on the map, so this is probably less applicable. In the past, there used to be maps with just like a handful of pallets, and if you wasted them, and then you guys were screwed. But that's not really how it works anymore. So yeah, that's kind of a topic for a separate video, but this was basically just me opening my mind to you and showing you how I think when I play Survivor and I'm looping a killer. So thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. Stay safe and peace out.